Hello again, everybody. Okay, cool. Dead silence is great. Thank you, everybody. Anyway, let's keep the good vibes going. So I'd love to bring to the stage the writer-director, the originator of what you just watched tonight. Please welcome Mr. Oz Perkins.
Hi, everybody. Oh, hi. It looked really dirty up here. Really good. It looked dirty. Yeah, good.
How's your beer?
Light.
Awesome. So we'll chat up here a bit, ask some questions, and then we'll kick it over to you guys for a few. But we're gonna get the conversation started a bit. So, birthday parties, yes or no? Pro birthday, anti birthday?
How many people out here are parents? Birthday party's a weird thing.
Yeah.
When you're a parent, and certainly part of the Longlegs inspiration came from the fact that you hire a lot of people to come and do your birthday parties, clowns and mermaids and wizards and shit, and oftentimes you get to the position at the end of the thing where they're like, "Can you help me back to my car with my stuff?" And you go back to their car. And it's really fucked up. It's like a really sad state of affairs. Like they definitely live there. It's definitely bad. And you've started to already notice the kind of holes and the runs in their leotards and things, and that the cuffs of their clown costumes are sort of dirty. It's just one of those things. And I think Longlegs kind of grew out of the soil of all that.
Yeah, so speaking of that soil, I mean, there's so many different ideas and visual motifs and audio. So the stuff, the T-Rex stuff is amazing. I love T-Rex as well. So I just wanted to ask too about other sort of starting spaces for that soil, like that made this grow.
Well, I was thinking about it before I got in here, and sort of the notion of like if you put 1,000 or 100 or however many monkeys in front of however many typewriters, right? And eventually they're sitting there and you get the collected works of Patricia Highsmith or whatever it is. And if you think about your creative brain in that way, right? If you're a writer, if you're trying to generate stuff from a blank page, from a blinking cursor, the monkeys at the typewriters in this metaphor, I guess, is everything that you put in, right? So it's like you want to dump a bunch of really good stuff in there. So you want to read books, you want to go to museums, you want to watch good movies. I defy anybody who walks around saying like, I watch bad movies so I can learn. You know those people? You don't learn anything from bad movies, right? Go watch like some 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐞 movies, you want to find out some stuff. But like, read a book, see a play, go to a museum, read some poetry, right? Like, don't watch Netflix, there's nothing there. No, but seriously, like if you're out there and you're in this crowd or any crowd and you're like, I want to be a writer, I want to be someone who creates stuff, like, the last thing you want to do is watch what they're putting out on the conveyor belt. You know, so it's like the 1,000 monkeys and the 1,000 typewriters, that's everything that you've invested in yourself. That's all the music you've listened to, it's all the art you've seen, it's all the poetry you've read, it's all the novels you've read, it's all the plays you've seen, it's all the times you listen to your grandmother ramble on. Right, like apparently Hannibal Lecter was based on Harris's grandmother. Just like an asshole who like destroyed people at Thanksgiving, and he was like, "That's a serial killer." Anyway, and she loves sort of like to wit, but like to wit, like that's the deal, you know. So where does so it all comes from that? You're churning the mulch over. You're kind of like, it's like when you take out the compost, you're like, man, this shit's hot. It's the heat of the compost of the stuff that you put in your brain.
Yeah. And with that too, I mean, you're obviously working with a ton of people to help those ideas, all that level of ingestion you're getting working with them. So I was wanting to kick it specifically, working with Nicolas Cage on this, like sort of, he's obviously ingesting his own things in his own way. It seems like this is a very, very specific collaboration too, just given his team also produced this. So I just wanted to ask about that, like what the collaboration was with him and creating a character at the center of this and really trying to keep people on their toes in that way.
The amazing thing about Nicolas Cage is that I don't know anybody, and I've never known anybody, who's a bigger fan of the movies. just the thing that is the movies, right? Take it from F.W. Murnau on to all the way to Oppenheimer and everything in between. Nicolas Cage loves movies. He knows every movie, he knows every actor, he knows every performance, he knows every rock and roll song lyric. If I say to him, hey, have you seen Uncle Boone Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives? If I say that to him at 10 a.m., at 12:55, he calls me. I love the catfish. But that's really real. That's Nicolas Cage. And so when you're collaborating with this guy, you get the feeling right away that there's no ego. And I know that might sound weird, you know, Nicolas Cage, and the leather jackets and the thing and all this stuff, and he buys alligators and castles, Lamborghinis and stuff. But he has no ego about it. He's there to service the picture. He's there to service the text. So if he likes your script, thank God he did like the script, or I wouldn't be here, he goes to work on the thing because he wants the thing to be the best, coolest version that it can be. He reads every review. We're always texting each other compliments back and forth. Did you see what they said about you, Nick? Did you see what you said about you, Oz? It's fun. It's my life now.
Oh, good. Just like prayer stickers on iPhone between stuff. So with that, you know, working with him, I want to ask too about the tone, about like how do you manage tone with the picture? Like something that's sustained. Obviously, there's a bunch of different peaks and valleys this movie has, and it's funny. It's also scary. I mean, there's much. I'm telling you about your own movie, but I was just kind of curious, like, how is it, you know, conducting that, you know, as it progresses, as you're kind of shaping it on screen?
It's like you go into it with the intention, the question to yourself, what if I didn't take any of this seriously? What if I just went in playful? What if I just went in loose and playful and with a certain level of affection? What if I just approached this dirty movie just with affection? Love for movies, love for the genre, love for the kind of weird things like Bible verses and stuff. Like you just went into it with sort of a giddiness, right? Sort of like an open-hearted creativeness. And it may sound odd to make a movie like this out of that, but that's what it is. You're just trying to assemble what you like. And so a lot of people say to me, how do you make it so much dread? Where's the dread button? It's like it evolves, it just happens over the natural course of creation when you're working with good people who you like. It's like getting the scares, that's easy. Like that's not hard, that's not that hard to do. Making it a little bit funny, that's harder. Making it feel a little bit sweet, that's harder. Do you know what I mean? Like, but scary, it's not that hard. Making things grotesque, gruesome, blood. You know, you have like an army of like special effects nerds out there who really want to do that. They live for that shit. You know, we got the blood here, we're ready to go. But of course they are. So it's like, you know, you have those people on your side. And so you're kind of trying to go at it more obliquely. And so tone comes from oblique reference, right? Tone comes from the fact that when I was writing it, I just started, like, I didn't know T-Rex music, really. I know a lot of music, but for some reason T-Rex was something that I just had never gotten to. And then it just started playing in my world. Like, it just became something that I was hearing a lot, I was listening to a lot. And I sort of took it as a cue from the muse or the universe or whatever you want to call it. And you make it work. And because you're creating something on your own by yourself, and there's nobody to help you, right? Like writers, right? It's like, help. There's no help. Nobody wants to fucking help you. Nobody likes a writer. We've all seen Barton Fink, right? If you throw a rock in this town, you're gonna hit a writer, and do me a favor, if you throw it hard. So you're kind of alone, and you gotta lean on your own stuff. And so if the universe says, I think it's T-Rex, you kind of make a T-Rex.
You were mentioning, you know, the difficulty with like those oblique points of, you know, with humor and with the grotesque was easy. I just wanted to ask too, like, what were the most difficult things on this shoot for you, whether it was in the writing process or just in the physical shoot? Because it does seem pretty rigorous.
It's impossible, right? It's all impossible, right? Like you never have, in making movies, I don't care if you're me or if you're Jordan or if you're Guillermo or whoever you are, like there's just not enough time. You just don't have enough time. And everybody's seen David Lynch talk about it on YouTube or whatever, right? I got 2 fucking days. I'm not a fucking machine, right? He can't, David Lynch doesn't have enough time. I definitely don't have enough time. So you're always operating against this kind of like, someone's upended the what's it called, the sand, the
Hourglass?
Hourglass. Someone's constantly upending the hourglass, and you're just like, well, that's happening, right? Like, we're just losing time. And so in that, you kind of gotta relax a little bit. The worst day, the baddest day for us was the stuff at the beginning. The arrival of Longlegs in the snow, the first time he meets Lee. It sucked. And it sucked because it snowed the night before, which was awesome for picture. Looks great. But, you know, don't step in the snow. Oh, fuck. Footprints. We're going to have to VFX that out. Do we have money for that? Do we have money to VFX out footprints? Because there weren't footprints there 5 minutes ago. Fuck. There's that. And then it was Nick's first day. And as wonderful as Nicolas Cage is, and as easygoing as he is, and as professional as he is, and as much of a fan of movies as he is, when you're making a movie in Vancouver with largely a crew of young people who've made a lot of things that they don't really give a shit about, and make a lot of Christmas movies and stuff like that's what's happening in Vancouver. And so all of a sudden they're making this movie, right? We've been doing it for about a week, and then Nicolas Cage shows up, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, don't fuck up, don't say the wrong thing, don't do the wrong thing, don't look at him. Or should I look at him? Should I talk to him? Should I not talk to him? What am I supposed to do? Fuck, he's here, fuck. And everybody gets into this clenched state, and it makes for a bad day. Do you know, like it's as simple as that. Like, sometimes I remember at the beginning of a day to say, when we have a hard day ahead of us, you can get up as the director or the producer or whoever and get up there and say, hey folks, listen, it's a hard day. We have to shoot 8 pages, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough money, it's gonna be hard. We can do it one of 2 ways. We can either bear down, or we can loosen up. And do it with a smile on our faces. Same day is gonna pass. We're gonna get what we're gonna get, but we might as well do it easy. And on that day, we were freaked out. Just because Nick it's an intense thing. Because not only is it Nicolas fucking Cage, but he's that. And no one's seen it, right? I'm walking him from his trailer to camera, and you're walking it, and you see the people are just. Where do you look? And so everybody's freaked out and tense, and we get into arguments, you get bitter, and you get bitchy, and you fight with your DP and stupid stuff. You get to the end of the day, and you're like, fuck, we fucked it up. We don't have anything, fuck. And then you have a good editor, and you have a good scene.
Hell yeah. Take that, every aspiring person.
If you're a good editor, man, you can do anything. It's amazing.
I want to ask specifically about Nick. I know that, with a couple characters he based, obviously based the Wild at Heart character off of Elvis. He's based a couple characters off of Tony Clifton. Is this Tiny Tim? What was the reference point for the look? Because it really felt like, have you seen Blood Harvest with Tiny Tim? It's a lady.
No.
It's a similar-ish movie where
Sounds horrific.
It is. But it's, I was just curious if there was like a specific visual reference point yet for the creation and when you're all the makeup and everything.
Visual, yeah. I mean, it's written in the script that he's busted by plastic surgery. I love that term, busted. Yeah. He's busted by, like, my daughter, 15 years old, she sees Sarah Jessica Parker on the advertisement for the Sex and the City reboot. She's like, fuck, she looks busted. I didn't do it. I didn't do any of that. Busted by plastic surgery is in the pages, and he really wanted to. Sorry, do that. He's doing his mom. Nicolas Cage is doing an impression of his mom, and he'd be the first person. I'm not like spoiling it. I'm not telling him. I'm not speaking out of school like he says that in interviews. Like he's doing his mom. I guess his mom was pretty imbalanced.
Got it. Well,
and she used to do that shit to him, like she used to put, because I was like, Nick, I think it's like white face makeup. I was like, like Bob Dylan, Rolling Thunder Review, like that kind of white face makeup, or maybe like Lou Reed, kind of Transformer kind of vibe. And he was like, yeah. My mom used to put cold cream all over her face and turn her back on me and then go, cuckoo. I didn't do that either, guys. I didn't do that either. Like this thing, That's his mom. Nicolas Cage's fucking mom. Dude, that's your mom.
Don't tell him I mentioned the Tiny Tim thing then. We have time for like 1 or 2 audience questions. And with audience questions, I want to say very, very specifically, they're questions. They're in a question mark and of single specific statements that are with it, right? So I really appreciate that, everybody's time. So
I really
thank
like
you.
questions. Can we have a couple? Can we do a
Yeah,
couple?
let's do it,
Like,
let's do it. Yeah, you sir, right there. Yeah.
I say this in a lot of interviews, and it sounds sort of pat or like I'm trying to skirt the issue or something. You just do what you like. Do you know, like if you're in my job, you try to do what you like. It makes sense, right? And I don't think everybody does it because I can't imagine the person who directs. I'm not going to name a name, but let's just say there's some horror movie part 3. Let's just say, or part 4, or 2, or 5, or whatever it is. I don't think any of those fucking guys who are doing those movies are like, this is what I like. Right? Like, I really love Final Destination 5. Like, that's what I really love. I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe that's how, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't speak. Is there a Final Destination 5?
There is, yeah, it's the one in 3D.
Shit! I was trying to be safe from saying something that wasn't one. But you try to do what you like. Right? So you kind of get into this little, like if you're lucky and you have a DP who has the, well, if you hire the right person, you have a DP who has the same sensibility as you and likes the same movies as you, then you get into this little kind of romance with them about what you like. And for us it was Gus Van Sant. Right? It's not like, we're never like, well, we should really study Insidious 4. I'm sure Insidious 4 is awesome, by the way. I've never seen it, I don't know. But we weren't saying, wouldn't it be awesome if it was more like that or like that? We never had that conversation because that's not interesting at all. To get to the side of it, it was like, don't you love Gus Van Sant movies? I totally do. Oh, that's sort of Pacific Northwest, sort of lonely, and you know, it's no accident that he turns himself in at the bus stop. It's just my own private Idaho. It's no joke, right? So it's like, you find the things that you like, and then you do them. So one day, Andres comes to me, it's this young Mexican guy from Mexico City, he's like 30 years old or something annoying like that. And he's like, what do you feel about VHS? I'm like, what do you think I feel about VHS? Love VHS, kind of brown, like I like the brown VHS, that period. He's like, yeah, let's do it like that. Let's make the LUT on our digital, let's make the digital LUT VHS. So that's what that is. And then he's like, we can also shoot on VHS. So we shot on VHS, we shot on 35, and we shot on digital, and we just did it because we liked it. We shot a bunch of Polaroid pictures, and we went with, you know, those old disposable box cameras. Shot with a bunch of those. Just what we like, what we think is groovy.
All right. Yes, you sir, right there. Yes, you.
I noticed that in your previous films, and this one as well, the destruction or subversion or corruption of the family, often from within, is a returning theme. Is that a kind of driving force behind some of your creativity? Is that coming up from somewhere within? If you don't mind crying.
No, it's fine. Isn't it true, right? Isn't that true for most families, right? It's like if Thomas Harris can base Hannibal Lecter on his grandmother, right? Isn't that proof positive that families have some fucked up stuff in them and that they kind of eat themselves from the inside a little bit? I think that's just an elemental truth that's pretty benign, but then you extrapolate it out into something like this and you start to be able to explore something pretty weird, and then it kind of doubles back and you make it funny again, and then it's weird again, and it's scary and it's funny, and it's just life, I guess.
Let's see. Sorry, just want to make sure people are represented. Yes, you right there. Yes, you. Yes.
What is it like going from like comedy roles and acting, and then like being in that world, and then just moving over to writing a horror movie?
You probably heard Jordan Peele say it before, right? the difference between horror and comedy is the music. It's sort of what I said before. It's like, I don't take this seriously. And I don't mean to sort of diminish what I do or what you have experienced or what the movie is, but I do it with a light touch. And I think that comes from the fact that, like, I've experienced some pretty rough shit. And you can go two ways with that. You can kind of go under and down and dead, or you can kind of come out and be like, shit, I guess I'm still alive. I might as well have a laugh about it or something. And the next movie that I have in 5 months, guys, coming out in 5 months. Is this Stephen King's The Monkey. And it's a comedy. It's like if Robert Zemeckis took like a little bit of mescaline and made a movie about a monkey toy that kills people, but doesn't kill people like Chucky kills people or like Megan kills people, but just kills people by being there.
Like Marwan.
Like Marwan. Yeah, it just plays the drum, and when it plays the drum, people die in crazy, insane ways. But it's a comedy, because for me it was like, let's make a movie about this weird fact that everybody dies. What a fucking crazy thing. Everybody dies. And why not make a comedy about that?
Yes, right there.
This movie seems very holistic, from sound design, editing, tone, and cinematography. How much of that is present? How much of that holistic vision is present within the script while you were writing it?
All of it. It's done. No, I try to put as much into the script as I can, because for that reason, right? You want everybody sort of on the same page to make sure nobody's doing their own thing. And you get to the first day of shooting and they're like, what the fuck is this? You want everybody to be in the same dream, right? Like Bob Dylan, I'll let you be in my dream if I can be in your dream. And then kind of share this dream for a while. And doing that, the best way to get everybody onto that page is to put it in the script. I put a lot of stuff in scripts that I don't think a lot of people do. Like I put characters' thoughts, but why wouldn't everybody do that? Sort of a nice little guide. You write sound, I write sound into it, you know, like just things that to me make the texture of everything hold together, and then everybody's sort of, all the departments are sort of turned on from the first day.
So we have time for our final question, so I'll take that with you right there, Liz. Yes.
Great, awesome movie. I love the performance from Michael Monroe. I just wanted to hear you talk a little bit about creating a character of Lee Harper, because now one of the great FBI performances was awesome.
I appreciate that. I don't know that I can distinguish the creation of any character from the creation of any other character. I think all I can say is that when I'm developing these things, when I'm writing a script, the last thing I do is write a script page, right? Everybody kind of knows that. Last thing you do is write a fucking script page. I write a really long outline. So if it's a 100-page script, I write 100 pages of outline. And that's 100 pages of prose. Just... Because then when you come to the script pages, all you're doing is you're removing things, right? Someone once said to me early on in my kind of screenwriting education, have you ever noticed how much of the screenplay page is blank? Right, it's just white. There's not a lot of words on a screenplay page. I was like, oh, interesting. And someone else said, it's not what you write, it's what you don't write. It's like, well, fuck you with that. What do you think that? What does that mean? What it means is, you write everything out, and then when you come to the script page, you're just subtracting. So you're taking out everything that isn't the thing, or rather, everything that is too much on the nose of the thing. And you realize that everything you leave out, it's kind of like, it's like straining juice or something, or like, you know, like having like a nut bag and making almond milk or something. You kind of get just the good stuff, and the rest of it is like the rinds. And so when you're writing a character like that, you're submerging a bunch of stuff. You're just not putting it in. And an actor, any actor, and a good actor especially, really wants that. And a good actor really doesn't want to say the thing that they mean. Right? It makes sense. Nobody does. Everybody kind of says something kind of different than what they mean. And so give it to an actor, they want to play subtext. They don't want to play supertext. So in the case of this, I just got lucky, like I wrote a fun character that it's a lot of work. You show up every day and you just do it. And then you pull stuff out, that creates subtext. You kind of know what their backstory is. And then you get an actor who's good at it. It's so dumb to say that, but it's really not. Like, you're hiring people. It's like making a hire. You're making a good hire. You're hiring someone who's good at acting. And Maika Monroe's really good at acting. She's really interesting on camera. And she's really different on camera than she is in person. In person, she's kind of like... And in here, she's like... And the difference between those two things to me is like super interesting. So you hire her.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much
everybody.
for coming and for your time. Really appreciate it.